I hope Jitsi is behaving for us today. Okay, we're up and recording. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga for Aging Strong. So we had some requests this week for releasing tight hip flexors. And we need this every day so much just because we sit a lot during our day and we shorten these hip flexors here. But I wanted to mention that there's a couple of different main muscles that flex our hip forward. And one of them is the iliopsoas, or the hip flexor itself. There's also one of our quadricep muscles. There's 4 quads. One of those muscles, the rectus femoris, also crosses the hip. So when we stretch our quads, it helps to stretch our hip flexors as well. And then there's another muscle right in here-ish that's at the top of the IT band that runs down the outside of your leg. That muscle is called the TFL, or the tensor fascia lata. And that also can bring our leg forward. So when we're having problems with our hip flexors, it could involve more than just one specific muscle. So I want to work at stretching these different specific areas by changing the way our leg is rotating out or parallel or in. So as we do some of these stretches, we're going to work with some rotation of our femur as well. Now to start today, if you would like, grab maybe a medium to heavy band and go ahead and place it around the thighs, just above the knees. And we will be, as an option, of course, not needing that for sure, but just to give us a little extra resistance here. And it's also good to know with the bands, never to let them go completely loose. Whoop, there it went. So try to keep a little bit of tension on your resistance band at all times. Even when you're finishing the movement, keep a little bit of tension there. So let's just bring our feet about hips distance apart. Bring the palms to the heart center as we begin to focus and ground on our practice today. Just clearing your mind, bringing your awareness to your breathing and your entire physical body. Noticing today what might ail you, what specific issues you're thinking about maybe the class would help with, or areas of your body that you need to modify some of these movements. And then with our feet parallel, let's just bend the knees and start to sit down into chair pose. So chair pose, we have some activation from the glutes. But our hip flexors are tightened here. They're shortened, I should say. So we have shortened hip flexors. We're firing our glutes. When we fire our glutes and come up, I want you to squeeze your backside really tight and feel some lengthening of your muscles in front of your hips. We're going to sit into chair, inhaling. Come up, open the heart, press the hips forward, squeeze the glutes, and exhale. So with the progression of your own breath, or just don't even worry about thinking about your breathing, because I really want you to just breathe and think about tightening your glutes when you come up, squeezing your backside muscles, and opening up the hip flexors. So there's a direct relationship to loosening up the hip flexors by strengthening the glutes. They do opposites. It's called reciprocal inhibition. We've talked about it many times. When we tighten a muscle, in this case the bottom, the glute, then it relaxes the muscles on the opposite side of the joint. So in this case, the hip flexors. Let's do one more. And then just relax your arms by your side. So we're going to be taking very small steps. So if you pick up your right foot, step it back, maybe about not even a foot, maybe about a foot. Push your heel down into the ground. Squeeze your right glute and lift your right arm. And then we'll lower the arm and step in. You'll do it on the left. So a baby step back, your foot's parallel, front knee is bent. Tighten this glute and reach the arm. So we're going to alternate these from right to left. Step back just a bit, press your heel down, front knee is bent, back glute is tightened, and we reach. And then switch. Now you can keep going really slow so you can focus on your balance and what the muscles are doing. Or once you get the rhythm of the movement, you have everything down, you can start to move a little bit more vigorously, vibrantly, rhythmically. And I have, a little bit of bend in both knees when I come forward, almost like I'm coming into a little baby chair here, shifting, stepping back. So with our back foot parallel, I want you to notice what you're feeling in your glute, where you feel the contraction is occurring. No right or wrong, I just want you to notice. Let's do one more going to the left. And come in, rise straight up. So now when we step back with the foot, you're going to turn it out laterally. So if I step out with the right foot, I'm going to turn it out, but keep the hips forward. Squeeze the right glute, lift the arm. And then step in, step your left leg back and turn your foot out. So you're pointing it out this way. Squeeze your glute, keep your hips forward. Reach. And then switch at your own pace. So we're turning out the femur. This gives us a little bit different connection with our glute. The back side, which gives us a slightly different release in the hip flexor. So when we turn this foot out, when we step back, there's a tendency to turn our body that way, but keep your hip forward. It's just your leg is rotated out. Good. And we get some nice balance work with this today as well. I was playing with this to see how I could find different ways to stretch the hip flexor, and I feel like this is very efficient. Good. One more on the left side. Ooh, balance, balance. And step in. Okay, this one's going to feel different. So now I want you to turn your foot inward, but do it from not just from your foot. It's going to be from your upper leg. So step back, turn the foot in, squeeze the glute. Oh, you know what I really feel here is a different calf stretch. Yeah, on this back foot, as I turn it in, push the heel down, my calf says, yes, this is great. Turn it in. The hip joint is so amazing, being a ball and socket joint, that we can do so many different positions with our leg. Both abduction, adduction, flexion, extension. And when this leg is in the back, this is called hip extension. And that's where we get that hip flexor to stretch. Turn it in. Good, let's get one more each side. Turn the foot in, push the hip down, tighten the glute, reach. And one more on the left. That kind of wore me out already. And that's class for today. See you guys next week. All right, bring your feet a little wider. Let's sit down into our chair pose, reaching the arms forward. The arms will come up, open, and then circle back and around. So I want you to find a range of motion that works for you with this circle. Comfortable, pain-free range of motion. Let's do one more like this. It's just going to introduce us to the next movement. And you might need a wall or a chair to help you balance. So what we're going to do is chair pose, then shift our body weight into our right leg as the arms are coming up, and we'll lift this foot, set it down and circle around, down into chair. Then we'll do it to the other side. Lift, circle, come around. Okay, now that you know what's going on, what I'm doing, give it all you got. So we're opening that leg out to the side, firing the medial glute, strengthening that, which helps us to release the hip flexor. So this is our starfish balance. And if you need to do a different arm flow, that's okay too, to help you with this, to be able to balance. Let's do one more on each side. Chair pose, lift up, starfish balance. Circle back. One more. Come around and just hold chair, just a couple of breaths. So I have a chair off to the side of my mat. I'm going to use it to help me to balance. So let's come up, and for this next one, you might want to slide the band down to the ankles to get a little bit more range of motion with this as we strengthen our glutes. So I want you to step your left foot forward, bring your hands down to gently rest on your chair. Bend your left knee, and then with your right leg in parallel, just lift and stretch that band and control it down. Stretch and lower. So we can make this our standing bird dog also and lift our left hand off the chair. So we have right hand on the chair, left foot on the floor, left hand reaching forward, right leg squeezing the glute with control. Good, two more here. Tighten the buttocks. And one more, hold. This is also a modification of our Warrior 3 balance pose. So if you want to let go of your right hand, try to balance. And then hands come down. We lower that leg and rise up. So my feet are still staggered. I want you to straighten both legs. Hinge right from your hips and just take a pyramid stretch. So we're stretching that left hamstring a little bit. Not too deep because we're early in our class. So just a nice gentle stretch. Okay, so we're going to stay on this leg for a few more repetitions. So bend the left knee a bit. Turn your right foot out. So my hips are still facing the chair, but my leg is rotated laterally, and we are going to lift it back and squeeze your glute with the foot pointing out to the right slightly. Exhale, squeeze. So there's a direct relationship to releasing our hip flexors by strengthening our glutes. Last 3, 2, 1. Set your foot back down but parallel and rise up for a moment. Straighten both legs. Square your hips forward and take a pyramid pose. So this gives us our hamstring stretch but also allows our glute to relax. So we have one more set on this side before we switch. Okay, rebend the front knee a fair amount. Turn your foot in. So my foot is medially rotated. Lift that leg up. Now it doesn't have to be high, just enough that you can feel the muscle contracting. 3, I'm going for about 8 reps of each of these. 4, can be done without the band as well. 6, we're getting a lot of good isometric work on the front leg as well. 7, and 8, come down, plant the foot. Now rise up, tuck your pelvis under a little bit, squeeze the right glute, and then lift the right arm and side bend over toward the left. So give yourself a really nice hip flexor stretch here. With the side bend added in, that brings it into the TFL, which connects to our IT band. Okay, come up. Let's switch feet so your right foot comes forward. Your left foot steps back just a bit and your foot is parallel. We're going to place hands on the chair, bend the front knee so you're working that leg isometrically, and bring that left leg straight back in parallel. And I have my ankle dorsiflexed, but you could also point your toe. In yoga, we usually see dorsiflexion. If we want to let go of our right hand, we have a bird dog, spinal balance. Let's get 4 more lifts. Squeeze 4. Now, are your abdominals engaged? Oh, yes, they are. 3. If they weren't, they are now. 2. And 1. Good. Set that foot down parallel, and they're not directly behind one another. You do have a little bit of separation. Come up, straighten both legs, hinge forward into a gentle pyramid stretch. Neutral spine as much as possible. Okay, rebend the front knee, reach to the chair, turn your foot out. The back foot turns out. I'm already squeezing my glute right here and I haven't even picked it up. And lift. This one really lends itself to getting deep into the glute muscle with the leg rotated outward. 3, 4. So important to keep our glutes strong. 5. For a good, strong, functional life as we age strong. 7. And 8. Good. Put that foot back down, but bring it to parallel. Rise up to take a break on that front leg. Straighten it out. Pull your shoulder blades back and hinge into pyramid. And then we have 1 more set. So we'll rebend the front knee, turn the back foot in. And again, it's not from the foot, it's from the whole leg. And lift up. 8. 7. How about this standing glute? We're getting a lot of work there, aren't we? 6. Keep rotating that thigh in. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. All right, set that foot down. Come up. We'll take 1 more pyramid stretch. Square off the hips, lengthen all the way up through the spine. Both legs stay straight as we hinge forward. Coming down any amount. And then we'll stretch the back leg hip flexor. So we'll put a little bend in that knee again, come up. Do a little pelvic tilt. So it's a posterior pelvic tilt. You're tucking your sits bones under you, squeezing the back glute. The left arm lifts, and we side stretch over to the right. And my toes are doing all kinds of gripping to keep my balance. They're just squeezing the mat. Don't topple over. One more breath. All right, lower that arm down. We're going to bring our feet a little bit wider than hips distance apart. Hinge forward and place your hands on the chair. We can walk our feet back so you have a nice downward dog position for your upper body. With the right foot parallel, we're going to slightly bend our left knee and try to lift your leg out to the side and tap it in. Lift it side, 2, looking for 8. So this gives us a hip abduction, but with our body folded in half, it changes the way we activate the muscles. Good, 6, 7, 8. Set that foot down. Just relax into your down dog. Give yourself a little bit bigger stretch here for your shoulders. Or you can come all the way up and stand up. And then we're putting a little tiny bend in our right knee, shifting our body weight over there a little bit, and lift your left leg out. 8, 7. I'm really feeling this in my stabilizing hip. 6, 5. If the band's getting too tight, what we can do is bring it up a little bit. I'm going to do that. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set that foot down. Take your down dog here. Stretch. And then we'll walk our feet in towards our hands and remove your resistance band. Reverse swan dive, rise up, inhale, press the palms and exhale. Okay, we've been having a lot of requests to continue to work some weights for the upper body in some of our yoga poses. So light weights, if you'd like to add them. I'm just going to go with little 3-pounders. So at the beginning of our class today, we did chair pose, step back, we opened out, we squeezed the hip flexor, and then we stepped in. So I'm going to give you the option to do these with your weights. You can turn long ways on your mat, but I'm just going to face forward. So we start in chair, we'll step 1 foot back, press the heel down, tighten the glute. Now I want you to lift your heart a little bit, maybe even take your gaze up and then close in. Other foot, step back, find your balance. You can have a little bit of a turnout in that foot. Open up the heart. Wow, that is a great hip flexor stretch. I think to some degree, holding onto these weights is actually giving me a little bit more leverage to stretch back, as the weights are kind of pulling my arms back toward the floor behind me, giving me a little bit better back bend. Let's do one more like this on each side. Good. So it's a little short stance, warrior 1, that we're stepping into with a baby back bend. And close in. Okay, step the right foot back so we can hold that warrior 1. Open here. So check to make sure your elbows are a little bit lower than the shoulders. We don't want our arms clear up, but we're going to rotate our palms down, level with the floor, or you can go even a little lower than that, and then rotate back. Now, while you're doing this upper body exercise for the shoulders and the rotator cuff, Squeeze the back leg glute, slightly do a posterior pelvic tilt, and give yourself the benefit of a hip flexor release. Good, you can do this without weight and you'll still get some wonderful strengthening for the upper body. 3 more. Back leg is pretty straight, front knee is bent. 2 more. I don't think I'd want to do this with heavier than 3 pounds. Last one. Then bring the palms together as we step in. Let's take a break for those arms a little bit. Hands back to heart. Step back left. Find your lower body lunge first, that short stance warrior 1. Then we open out and we rotate down. And rotate up. Again, we're posterior pelvic tilt. So we really get that hip flexor to open up. Abdominals are engaged. And do a comfortable range of motion for your body. So I don't want you to feel any strain in your shoulders here. We have 3 more, but if you're getting tired, come down here and do them this way. 3. 2. And 1. Good, step back in and rise up. Okay, the long ways on your mat. I want you to take your feet nice and wide. I'm going to turn the right foot out and come into a warrior 2. Now I still want you to think about this hip flexor by squeezing the back leg glute muscle. And we've got an arm circle, kind of a circle. We're going to open the arms out, bring them around to the front and down. And out and front and down. Now this can be right in here. It's your arm circle. Maybe bend that front knee a little bit more. Sink down into that knee. Allow it to track over your ankle. Keep squeezing the back leg glute. 3 more. 2. And 1. Good. Okay, support yourself here, maybe on this forearm. So we come into side angle pose and bring the left arm across the body at 90 degrees. Rotator cuff, rotate out and in. Good. Again, really light weight here. Are you squeezing your back leg glute? Keep it engaged. Exhale. 4 more. Great job. 3, shoulders are stacked, so try not to round over forward here. 2, elbow stays in close to your body. And 1. Great job. Rise up. Pivot on your right heel to turn your foot in. Your left heel to turn your foot out. Come into your warrior 2 and think about this leg. Tighten the butt. Release the hip flexor. Roll the shoulders back. Now we'll change the direction of our arm circle. So we'll come forward this time and open and down. Forward. Open. Down. Safe, comfortable range of motion for you. We're looking for 8 reps, but any number is fine. Keep your shoulder blades down and retracted. 4 more. Great strengthening for the deltoids in the shoulder. 3. Great job. 2. 1 more. Okay, bring that forearm down. So you're in a side angle pose, bending that elbow about 90 degrees. Rotate out for 8. 7. Go back to engaging your glute on that back leg. 6. 5. Great job. 4. Exhale, 3. So great to get this rotator cuff work in. 2. And 1. Good. Let's rise up, straighten that leg, and we'll heel toe or walk our feet back in. Shake out those legs. Okay, we are going to come into another hip flexor stretch. If you don't want to come down onto your knee on the mat, you're going to do this standing. I'm going to bring my little blanket down so that I can go to my knees. So, if you're going to stay standing up, we'll reach to the chair and step the foot way back and then rise up and stretch here standing. If you want to come down to the floor, you can use your chair for balance. Drop your knee down. And we want to have the knee behind the hips. So we have this really great stretch here. You can use the chair for balance. You can lift an arm up. I want you to play with this because you can add a side bend. You can add a twist toward the front leg. So take about 1 minute in this stretch and see if you can get the stretch that works really good for your body, for that right hip flexor, the back leg. And you can play around with it. This is a good one. It's called Dragon, where your hands come down to the floor. 30 seconds to go. I haven't really tried this stretch much since my hip replacement. Definitely feels tight in those muscles. So while we've got about 15 seconds left, I want you to think about how you're going to get out of this and change legs because we're all going to probably tackle it differently. So if you're standing up, that's easy. You can just switch feet. But if you're down on the mat, what I'm going to do is bring my front leg down and then step my back leg forward and get a nice big step. So take your time. And then you've got about a minute to find the stretch that works good for you on that back leg hip flexor. And we should still be tensing the glute muscle on the back leg or the left leg. I start to forget about tensing that muscle and it goes loose. 30 seconds to go. Just a few more breaths, and then we'll be transitioning to coming down onto our backs. So I'm not going to cue how to do it. I just want you to make that transition on your own. So whenever you're ready, we'll come down and lay on our backs. We're going to be doing some bridging, and sometimes it's nice to use your chair for bridging. So if you'd like to pull it close to you, just in case you want to try to use it for some bridging, that would be great. We're going to come down onto our backs. So I think I'm going to try it with my chair first. So what I want you to do is bring your feet hips distance apart and glue your heels down either into the top of your chair or into the floor, and then let your hips rise up. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to do some bridging here. If the chair isn't working for you, put your feet on the floor. And then you can choose if you want to stay up in bridge for several counts, if you want to make this rhythmical repetitions coming up and down. Now I'm feeling this a lot in my hamstrings, and I think it has to do with my feet being up on the chair. So I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way and then bring my feet back down to the ground. See if I get more glute. Yeah, I think with my legs lower, I'm getting more gluteal and less hamstring. Okay, 30 seconds. Good, couple more. And then come on down. Just take a brief little hamstring stretch on each leg, maybe 10 seconds, just to lengthen the muscle out. Doesn't need to be too deep. And then the other side. So we're going to do a bridge with our feet further away from our body. So if your normal bridge is right about in here with your feet, I want you to walk them out a little bit so there's less bend in your knees. Put a flexion in your heels so you're pulling your toes up, and then let's lift up into bridge from here. Now this isn't going to be as high. Lift up, tighten your glutes, and come down. We're going to do 5 repetitions. Lift up, come down, 4. Now, sometimes the hamstring wants to cramp on these, so if you feel the back of your leg starting to cramp up, don't work through it. Go ahead and take a break and stretch. 2 more. Lift and lower. 1 more. Lift and lower. Now we're going to do a staggered bridge. So your left leg's going to remain where it is, and I want you to step your right foot back in close and put your whole foot on the floor. So you've got one knee bent pretty close, the other leg is further away, and you're on the heel. Now press down into your right foot and your left heel and lift up into bridge. 5. And down. Now try not to let your right leg do all the work. I want you to push down into your left heel. 4. Lift up. 3. Exhale as you rise. 2. And 1 more. And come down. So you should have felt the right leg got more work from the glute and the left leg got more from the hamstring. So now on the left leg, we'll stretch the hamstring back up. Maybe some ankle circles or ankle pumps. And you can certainly use your yoga belt. And then our right leg, we're going to stretch the glute. So bring your left foot back down, cross the right ankle over the left, and we'll pull the knees up for figure 4. On Tuesday, we worked on long lever versus short lever exercises with our weight training. And this kind of is another way we can do long and short lever with this staggered bridge. So let's come down. Your left foot remains close to the glute. Your right leg goes out further away and you're on your heel. So we have a stagger. Push down into both feet and lift the hips. Bridge. 5. And come down. Exhale up. 4. Try not to let your left leg do all the work. Exhale up, 3. Push that right heel down into the floor. And lower, 2 more. Lift. And down. 1 more time. Tighten the glute and hamstring. And lower. So the right leg was the one that worked more hamstring. We're going to stretch that one up. Ankle circles or point and flex. Great. And then the left leg will stretch the glute. So bring that right foot down, cross the left ankle over, open your knee out, and then bring those knees up and stretch. That's great. Okay, lower the feet back down. Separate your feet mat's width apart and your knees as well. So you have a nice wide position. Turn your feet out a little bit and we'll come up into bridge here. So you have both feet rotated out. You'll lift up. Now, I don't know about for you, but for me, this gives me a higher bridge. And let's come down. So now I feel like I'm able to stretch my hip flexors a little bit when I do this wide bridge. So our number is 5. There's 2. Come up. 3. And I can really feel the outside of my glutes wanting to engage. 2. Good. 1 more bridge. Really tighten the glutes. Relax the hip flexors. And come down. Now keep your knees and feet this wide and drop them over to the right side. So this is going to give you a hip flexor stretch on the left leg. If you want to deepen that and it feels okay for your body, you can pick up your right foot and lay it over the outside of your left knee and stretch here. While we're stretching, if your weights are right there and you want to do any exercises for your arms, why not? You can. Chest presses, chest flies. Take advantage of that. Okay, we're going to come back into our wide bridge one more time. So take your feet wide, bring your knees back up. Your toes are turned out. Straighten out your spine and press up and squeeze. Now, I don't know about you, but this is my thinking, is that you should be able to feel the difference between your right glute contraction and your left glute. The left one was the one we just stretched in the hip flexor, the left hip flexor. And I feel like I have more range to come up on my left side. I think this is number 5. Let's do 1 more. Lift. And lower. Drop both knees over to the left. So now it's our right hip flexor we're stretching here. We can place the left foot on top a little bit if that feels okay. You can do some upper body work with your weights as we're holding this stretch. And you can tighten this right glute while you're stretching this side as well. Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to repeat that wide leg bridge 1 more time. Now that we've stretched both sides hip flexors, nice wide position, turn your toes out, lift the hips up. 5. I still feel like I have more range on the left side. 4. I don't think I stretched as deeply on the right side because of my bad knee arthritis. Oh well. 3. We have limitations that get in the way sometimes. 2 more. Lift, squeeze, and lower. 1 more. Lift, squeeze, and lower. Okay, hug knees into your chest for just a moment. It's always nice to do a little counter stretch when you've been doing a lot of bridging and spinal extension. And then we're going to roll over onto our front side. And I've got my little blanket there so I can use to support my face or my forehead. So if you can, put a little something under your forehead so that you can keep your head straight and your nose isn't touching the mat. So now I'd like you to just tighten your glutes right here while you're laying on your stomach and try to push your front hip bones down into the mat. And then with a tiny little bit of help with your hands, come up into a cobra. But mostly use your back muscles. Keep squeezing your glutes. And then lower down. We're going to do 5 of those. Tighten your glutes. Lift up. A little bit of help from your hands. Squeeze your elbows into your ribs. Come down. 3 more. Tighten your glutes. Lift. And lower. 2 to go. Make sure it's a range that feels okay for your back. 1 more. And come down. Okay, if this is comfortable, you can stay like this, or you can bring your hands forward underneath your forehead. So take your legs about hips distance apart. Squeeze your right glute and lift your leg up. And then set it down. Squeeze your left glute, lift up your left leg. And down. Right leg lifts. Now your knee can bend a little bit, but this isn't coming from your knee. It's coming from doing hip extension. And then left leg. And down, take a break. So with all the hip flexor release and stretch we've done, hopefully you are able to get your leg to come off the floor okay amount. Okay, so adding Superman arms, reach them out long, we'll do contralateral raise. So as your right leg lifts straight up, lift your left arm, and you can also pick up your head a little bit and your chest. And come down. Switch, left leg, right arm. And down, we have 1 more on each side. If it's not comfortable with your arms up, keep them in, right in here. And then 1 more, left leg, right arm. And down. Okay, we're going to try to lift both of our legs off the floor. My chair is kind of in my way, so I'm going to scoot forward a little bit. Okay, squeeze both glutes. Lift your legs up. I cannot go very far at all. My hip flexors are so tight. I don't have the range. And relax. And lift both legs up and down. Now we can do this with a style of arms for locust. So reach your hands next to your body with your palms turned down like you're going to push your hands into the floor. And then lift your legs and lift your chest. And come down. And lift. And come down. We can also reach our hands behind our back and lift